We all know heartbreaks are a part of life and they are as old as time, but not all heartbreaks come from people. Sometimes they come from motorcycles. I wanted to quickly tell a story of the motorcycle that got away that one day I will get, just not today or tomorrow probably. This was when I first started getting into motorcycles, and I had already quit my career as a high-performance tennis coach and started working for Harley Davidson. And at that time, I was still a porter, lot attendant, wash bay person who washed the motorcycles. And I knew I wanted a project bike to kind of like prove myself. That was before I got this motorcycle, and this ended up becoming my project bike. I'll show the before and after pictures. At the time, I was still looking for the right bike. And I didn't have much money because I had quit a really good career, and most of my savings kind of went to future payments of rent, hoping I'd get a raise soon, because I started off at $10 an hour and I could not afford rent on that. But I did want to spend at least, just a few $100s on a beat-up bike as, something to work on. Granted, trying to find a motorcycle that's about $500 and doesn't need too much TLC is a bit of a task on its own. I did a lot of looking around on the internet, and mainly on Craigslist. I didn't have Facebook Marketplace at the time, but I did find, after, a few weeks of digging, a 1986 Suzuki GS550 L. And it already had modifications done to it into a cafe racer type bike, but it was in its own, the owner who had modified it in his own taste, I guess. It wasn't like really a cafe racer, but it was somewhere up that alley, I would say. And I thought it was just absolutely beautiful. It just needed some light TLC. It had just been sitting for a long time. But other than that, it was in really good condition. It was garage kept. And all that aside, I just thought it was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful bikes I'd ever seen. And it was only $500. I remember I was so excited about it. I messaged the seller. They were a few hours away, so I was going to travel with my dad. I had called him up, and he has a vehicle that we could have put the motorcycle in. Called him up, we made plans that we were going to leave early in the morning the next day and head over to that city. I think it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive. So we were going to wake up really early to get there, and around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. All was set in stone. We agreed on the price, we agreed on the plan and the time. And I was so excited that whole entire day, like knowing that tomorrow I'm going to go on a little road trip and get this new motorcycle. And I didn't want just any old bike that I could get my hands on. I still wanted to like the base model of it, or just like still like the foundation of the bike. I know you can take really any bike and modify it and put some imagination to it. But when I saw this bike, it just struck my heart. I was like, that's it, that's the one I want. And I thought I hit the jackpot. So when it came to evening, I got into bed and, already put my alarm to wake up early so I could go to my dad's house and meet him so we could get on the road. Called my dad, we confirmed everything. So I sent a text to the dude right before going to sleep, just saying, hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate, just the opportunity to buy this bike. I was just really thankful and really excited. So I sent him a text of my gratitude. I don't know why. I just felt like the need to do that. And just so he knew I was excited. I don't know, I just did that. And within a few minutes, he responded saying, oh, I forgot to tell you, but someone made an offer for $100 more, so I sold it to them. And my heart was crushed. And I'm not the one to argue with someone. I feel like there's really no good can come out of arguing. I just replied like, hey, you could have, told me that, and I would have, given you also that, I was really excited, really wanted this bike. And he was like, my bad, bro. And that was it. And I didn't reply back. But I was devastated. I remember I called my dad and I just told him that, it's off. He had already sold it. And I kind of held my composure together. I knew he could tell that I was upset, but the moment I hung up, I cried. I bawled my heart out. I remember I was crying in the midst of crying because I didn't get the bike I wanted. I realized, dang, I am crying over a motorcycle more than I would cry over a guy, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I realized in that moment that I absolutely love motorcycles, and I have there's definitely, it's not just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's more than just, you know, like, after just crying and crying and crying over this motorcycle, I knew I couldn't just, you know, dwell in self-pity. I did have that money that I could have spent on the bike, and I probably could have put it towards, you know, bills or just future, you know, partial rent payments. But I guess out of the midst of high emotions and rash thinking, I went and got my first hand tattoo. All my tattoos before that point were hidden, and it was kind of more of a, I don't know if it was like a rebellion. I don't know. I can't really justify why, but I went and got my first hand tattoo, and that was just on my knuckles, getting homesick. I know the people who knew the backstory that I was gonna get a motorcycle, because everyone knew, I told everyone, oh, I'm about to go get this motorcycle. I was like really in love with it. I just thought it was such a beautiful 80s style cafe racer type bike. So when I had to tell everyone, no, I didn't end up getting it, this is what happened. And then I come into work the next following work shift with a new tattoos on my hand. They were kind of like, you all right? Out of all the visible tattoos you could have got first to get them straight on your hands, I had already long before wanted, you know, having, you know, a sleeve, working on it, but, you know, having body work going up on a certain hand. But that was that, just that pull of the trigger, making that first step onto that want. But I will say, it made me realize that motorcycles was more than just the means of transportation for me, that I am really passionate about this, and it kind of just made me, you know, strive harder in my career to learn all that I can, so one day when I do have the financial means, I can buy the bikes I want, make them the way I want, and I don't have to rely on pure luck or someone else's generosity, you know, if you get what I'm saying. And one day in the future, I definitely do see myself getting an 80s style bike that is my cup of tea, not just any 80s bike, and making it up, you know, making it in my own taste. Because, you know, different bikes, different riding styles, and different just physical aesthetics. Ideally, to have a big garage and a different bike for every type of mood. If I want to be adventurous, get an enduro, have a cafe style bike for, you know, when I'm trying to be a little bit more aesthetic or retro. This was just a, my first project bike. I know I wanted something more club style-y, but this kind of a, my own take at it. Granted, have mismatched tins due to that whole front end being, you know, I replaced the whole front end for the wider front wheel. Anyways, different bikes, different styles, and different personalities that they have, whether it's aesthetics and riding style. I know I will get there one day. And this is all just part of the process. And it probably, if it wasn't for that situation, I wouldn't have been as clear right away that how much I am passionate about this. But with each step, whether it was from, you know, me starting to ride and quitting my job to go work for Harley, and then from being a porter to service rider to tech, and then eventually becoming advanced certified technician, and to now making motorcycle content, kind of, it's really beautiful to see how this flower is blossoming and transforming over time. And I'm curious to see, you know, in the future, how it'll all be. The future is all up, you know, for possibilities and all possibilities. Though to me at the time, this was a major heartbreak, I realized that I learned an incredible lesson, and it kind of made my path more clear on which direction I want to go with my personal life and career and just goals. It definitely made a, you know, a clairvoyance, if that's the right way to pronounce the word, but it made the path more visible and more understandable to me. So I am definitely thankful that this did happen, even though at the time I was far from being thankful and did not see any positivity from it. And I just wanted to share that story. It's just kind of a little fond memory that I have. And I know I'm probably not the only one who has the bike that got away story. And I'm curious to hear y'all's stories, if y'all have any stories of how, you know, you had a motorcycle that you really wanted but you couldn't get for some reason, or a motorcycle right now that you really want that you're working to get, or a motorcycle that you sold that you miss dearly. Let me know in the comments. I really enjoy reading y'all's experiences and stories, because in some ways we can all relate to it, and it's just nice to see other their perspectives in life and experiences. Now, this was just a sweet little video. I do appreciate y'all watching it and y'all's support. If you do want to take your support a step further, in the description below, I do have a link to buy me a coffee, all that money that goes there goes to support, you know, all my adventures and motorcycle content I make. But besides that, I am truly appreciative of y'all watching the videos, y'all support on my channel, and just being in this little community with me. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun for me making these videos. It's fun to see, you know, how, you know, y'all getting enjoyment out of it. So I just want to say, I just wanted to wish y'all a really great day. Y'all stay safe out there, and don't forget to love those around you.